All right. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Smitty here and the Sim Standard Hangout here. We are live, episode 175. You know what I'm saying? Many episodes here, man. And we got it on right now here, and we got some special guests here on the show tonight. Got my dude DJ81. You know, he usually comes through anyways, but I appreciate him either way. You know what I'm saying? Always, these are special people to me. These are some of the quality dudes, and they always bring a lot of great insight to the table. DJ always hits us with some great tweets. Some stuff I even would pin for the whole year or nearly the whole year because they're like that solid of a post. You know what I'm saying? So, but shout out to my man DJ. He's on. I got also VF or Silent Gamer. He's back again. You know, he blessed us with his presence last week, and he's back again. Definitely appreciate him coming on.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? It's the second week in a row, man. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, no, and I definitely owe you. I still owe you that show, so I have not forgotten about that. I will be on. We gonna make it happen. I'll do 2 shows. Matter of fact.
Hey man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You come on anytime. And by the way, I don't know if most people probably haven't checked out the last episode that of First and Frame Rates. I am the co-host and founder of that show. We are going to start going live on November 21st at about 8:30. More likely it's going to be 8:30. So instead of the previous format that we were doing, we're going to start going live starting then. So you guys can come through just like it's going to be pretty much the same format as this podcast. Come through Q&As, talk about the main topics as far as real sports and sports gaming. And also we just throw some other stuff out there that's actually worth talking about throughout the week. So just come through. Once again, it's First and Frame Rates on my channel. It's Solid Sports Network.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm glad you're doing that too, though, because we need more of that interactivity out here like that, or more platforms like that. So definitely appreciate that. Definitely check them out as well. Him and Bills. Like I said, I'll definitely got to get on there, no doubt. And last but not least, my man Uber the YouTuber opens all the packs. I can't even touch the NBA Live Market because of this guy. All the packs. This guy right here, man. No, what's going on?
What's happening, man? Thanks for having me once again. Good to talk to you guys. I've been cutting back on my pack ripping. Got a little sore, got a little tendon issues with my pack ripping finger, but I've been trying to take it easy. But glad to be back, man. I'm glad to talk sports games and any gaming, really. Man, you know me. I could go all night on that.
Yeah. All right. Well,
too many innuendos all on that.
DJ, man, you a fool. But just to let y'all know, the topics, everything is listed down below. But just to let you guys know, we're gonna talk about the main 2 topics we want to get on, because we talked about Madden, CFM suggestions and things like that. But there was a tweet, in regards to some things regarding that, so we could get towards that more at the latter part. But really, the big things we want to touch on or discuss here is basically the microtransactions. We all know, that spans far and wide. Definitely want to talk about it, especially with what happened with Star Wars Battlefront recently. But then also a game we haven't really talked about, but that's really been doing some good work. NBA Live, console side and even on the mobile side. I ain't gonna front. That season 2 is nice. I'm really I personally enjoy it. And I definitely want to make sure we shed some light on that, because Live is definitely a sleeper title. And this is another thing too. I saw this on Twitter not that long ago. If you're on Xbox and you got the gold subscription, you could get Live 18 for $15 right now. So that's a mean deal. Yeah. Like if you got 2K and you looking to get it cheap, hey, I'd pounce on that just because. So, but to get into it, I mean, there's no particular order here. Anybody could jump in or whatever y'all want to say. But I'll just start things off by just talking about, like I said, microtransactions. In general, and we talked about this periodically, but I feel that when it comes to that, it all starts back to looking at PC gaming and looking at how it was back then. You didn't necessarily have the in-game microtransaction aspect of things until it came to the monthly subscription RPG games, or even the ones that would be like you could play them online for free without the monthly fee. But there were things in game that you could buy to enhance your character. So it still was present, but it wasn't on this huge scale like how it is now. And when you look at the sports side of it, back then, because we all know these consoles are trying their best to rival PC in every facet possible. And like I brought up Tiger Woods had like 4 or 5 course packs. And when you'd had to buy those packs, the game was basically like $40 or $50. But by the time you bought all those packs, you didn't spend $100, overall for that game to really get everything. Now, us, that play console games or the console gaming community, basically, when we would get the game, we would get the game with everything in it. It had, because the games that you didn't have, it would either be a 2 or 3 disc game, or it just had everything on the one disc. You didn't have expansion packs that you could just add on to your base core game on console. So we got accustomed to getting everything in one fell swoop. So when you look at the transactions and, the DLCs and the season passes and the little stuff you could buy, the camos and the skins and all that, it's like, okay, yeah, they're trying to nickel and dime. And that part of it I don't like. I understand if it's an option that's feasible and you put in the game, but stuff like what's happened with Battlefront, that to me is that's extremely overkill what they did, because I feel empathy for the dev team because I like the game personally. I enjoyed playing the beta and everything. I still plan on getting the game. I'm going to get it. But I'm getting it because of what the work the devs team did. I'm not gonna penalize them because of a decision that was over their head, and say, we're gonna make it set this ridiculous bar and then give a statement talking about how, oh, we want people to feel that sense of accomplishment that they earned it. I'm like, that's crazy.
No, the problem is with microtransactions necessarily is not a bad idea. There's nothing wrong when you're getting extra content from the actual game. The problem is with you have microtransactions that actually make you want to spend to complete a game. Like you look, even back when you look at people talk about how bad Capcom was. Capcom did a bad thing about their microtransactions having the stuff on disc. Yeah, that's bad because it's on disc, but if it was not on disc, it's actually a good deal because you're getting extra characters, you're getting extra content like with Resident Evil 5, you were getting a whole different story on the side. A lot of people just thought it was a bad thing because most of that stuff was on disc. There's nothing wrong with those type of transactions. The transactions that's in Battlefront 2, that's stuff that should be in game. You shouldn't have to pay that amount of money to get a character when you can just grind and get it. It's almost borderline like how VC is in 2K. It should not be that way. I mean, it's there, and I get it for convenience, but when you're dealing with that, that's what you're doing. That's the unethical part of it, because it takes away the skill of being a gamer. I mean, it's like I don't have to get good at any game. I'll just pay my way, and then I'm a beast. All the while, you still don't know the controls of the game. I mean, that's the big problem with it.
Well then on top of that, there's a little bit, it's outright gambling, because especially in Battlefront, it just seems like with what you get, whether you're using in-game currency or whether you're using real money, to purchase in-game currency, to purchase like a loot box or whatever, you don't know what you're gonna get. So
the
the
loot
money
boxes
you
are
may put
gambling,
in,
yeah. I agree.
yeah. So the money that you put in, you may not get your money's worth, and then you're gonna feel gypped. But then your impulses are gonna get you to spend more money, so you can possibly. And you know how like it's the what's that machine that
Slot machine?
it's a slot machine that mentality that goes on with these loot boxes. So
I'm listening.
Yeah.
No, but you know, to Smitty's point here too, there's so much at play. You brought up Tiger Woods, and now paying money to get some courses and things like that. Like to me, that's more of kind of DLC.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. I don't have a problem with that.
I'm good with that.
I'm 100% okay with that. Now, as long as the core game is there, but now if you are basically charging people a full retail price for a game that essentially is not complete and left to chance to complete, if you know what I mean by that kind of, you know, that's where I have a problem. Essentially, the Battlefront dilemma is kind of like dropping NBA Live, but not having LeBron James or Steph Curry on the regular rosters. Now, only giving you a chance to acquire them, you know, by buying loot crates, for example. Now, that is where I have a big problem with, you know what I mean? Because to me, there should be a core standard to a game, and, you know, that should be included. And let's face it, Star Wars, I mean, come on, Luke Skywalker, the main characters kind of, if they are playable in the game, they should be there, right? I mean,
they should be there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's just like LeBron missing in a basketball game. I mean, people would go nuts. Like, you know, I just there's a lot of gray area too, right? And then like to me, like cosmetic stuff is fine. Gameplay enhancing stuff to where people that spend a ton of money have a competitive edge. To me, now you're kind of getting into that gray area a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm an Ultimate Team fan, and if you really think about it, it is a little bit of that, right? Because let's face it, you're not getting that 99 overall Michael Vick unless you're gonna buy some packs. You know, figure out a way to buy these packs. Now, as long as there's a path for me to acquire those items, though, without spending, I'm okay with that too. You know what I mean? I get the grind, and I know sometimes the grind is almost it's too steep, you know. And I think we're getting to that point now where the grind, what's been asked for people to grind is getting too steep. You know, it should still be somewhat obtainable, but yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's all fun and it's all fun in games when you have, you know, a legit reason to actually buy certain things. Like with Madden Ultimate Team is actually not a bad area of microtransaction. Yes, as far as the slot machine aspect, yeah, I get it. But overall, I mean, you're paying for something for a chance. But as far as microtransactions go, I'm not a big fan of that because of, you know, the way it's set up. In other words, when you are playing games by chance, it is borderline gambling, where you have these games that are T for teen or some E for everyone. You having kids participate in this type of activity, and that could be a real big legal issue.
Yeah,
it's just outright illegal.
Yeah, you know,
like there's been some cases, right? I mean, I remember a story with FIFA, like I think a kid from Great Britain, I think took his parents' credit card and racked up some crazy, like 10,000 pounds worth of.
Yeah, and they're having a problem with that with Counter-Strike right now too.
And now they're trying, you know, like, can we get that money back, or like who's, you know, it's kind of like there is definitely that, but I mean, I don't know if you can completely phase that out, you know, as long kids shouldn't have credit cards, right? So there's
but like you said, if kids, as innocent as you want to make them to be, they will take a credit card, they will take some coin, they will take whatever. If the opportunity presents itself and they have it in them, they will do it.
Yeah, that's very true. And see, that's the thing. That's the other part about it too. The difference here is that, yeah, you can grind and you can, you can, and see, Kia made a great point. It's like the grind is a bit too tedious. They make it tedious. It's like they want you to feel discouraged to the point where you just mentally say, you know what, I got to buy some packs. I got to buy this bundle.
That's,
you know what I'm saying? In order to win this game, like they even do it in that Shadow of War. They got the microtransactions.
And I have that game too.
Yeah, like I got it too. And like one of my coworkers was playing it, and it's like he hit a wall in it where it's like it makes him think. He's like, see, they're trying to make me buy this stuff. And we were just talking about it, and I was telling him, I'm like, see, they made it that way, so that way you feel like you have to buy. You gotta get something to enhance. Like, I gotta do this so I can get over the hump. Because look what they give me, and I could use that. Like, no, you don't have to do it though.
And here's this is my big issue with 2K this year. Honestly, I love the game, but let's not sugarcoat it. When you create your character, you're garbage. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing nothing with your character.
That's been going on since 2K11. That's nothing new.
Right. And like, to me, like, I don't have the time to make 2K my full-time job. I want to hop in and hop out, play, even if I play 100 hours in a video game over the course of its lifespan, I almost feel like that's not enough on 2K. Like that just gets you somewhat competitive.
No, not if you're doing it the right way. It's not. It really isn't.
So I feel like you're discouraged to the point where, like, okay, I'm going to drop 50 to at least get my player somewhat competitive and then go from there. But the entry level enjoyment to me is not there. And that's why I got upset a little bit. You know what I mean? I buy the game, I pop it in, I want to play this certain game mode. By the way, the game mode that really is the #1 game mode in the game mode they promote like crazy. And I got a 57 overall dude that's supposed to be playing in the NBA, yet I can't make NBA type shots. I can't do anything NBA in that game unless
you definitely got to grind hard in that one.
Right.
You definitely have to grind, get that guy in the gym, and then after a while, I stopped playing that mode because
I don't even touch it no more.
It was actually the same way going to Shadow of War. It was just like I got to a point and I just stopped. And the thing is that I think what's anticipated about it that these companies can figure out through their research is that they know there's going to be a certain amount of players that are just going to stop. It's like an acceptable risk in marketing this whole microtransaction strategy. So they know a bunch of us are going to stop playing. They're counting on the ones that are going to go on their impulse, and they're going to grab their credit card, and they're going to spend that money to get, like in the My Player, to rank up 10 points, 20 points, so they can make those NBA shots, so you can continue to play, and so on and so on. So,
yeah. And it doesn't take much. I mean, the thing is, the currency in these games is not cheap, right? The loot crates, the packs, whatever you want to call them, and all the games now, it seems like they're not cheap. So it's not a small investment. And I think, if you get $1 out of every user on average, that's a successful release. And just think about how much, like, for example, VC is. You're not dropping $1. People that are going to spend are dropping 20, 50, 100, 200, hundreds of dollars, probably making up for the people who aren't spending, right?
I mean, that's the goal. That's the goal at the end of the day. It's like they're making up what the players who just want to play legitimately, they're making up that revenue through them. So that's the name of the game, basically.
But you did pay a $60 entry level fee, at the door. Right. Like that was just your gate fee,
Yeah.
It's like now you're inside the club. Now, what else are you going to spend money on? Are you going to spend money at the bar? Are you going to spend money at the hooker place? Or are you going to spend money on them over there?
A haircut?
What are you going to eat? Yeah, shit. Impulse buy. That's what they're relying on. Impulse buy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. And I mean, my thing about it is that, and like what London was talking about, was they have all these, other facets of the game to play, like playing in my league and, those other modes. And what I'm saying is, like, look, I'm cool with the My League and all that, but the problem is that the gameplay ends up getting interrupted because they do these updates that impact the whole game based off of what people are saying in the park. You know what I mean? Like they feel a certain way about what's happening in the park, and then they're just like, oh, we're going to tune the shooting. Oh, we're going to touch the layups. Oh, we're going to touch this. And then us that are playing My League and stuff like that, and we're having fun with it the way it was, our game is ruined because of how those guys feel. Mm-hmm. And these are the people that are paying this money. See, that's the whole thing. Because they paid some money, now they want that entitlement to be like, oh, man, you know what? Because I paid X, I should get this. I should do that, and I should do all these things. Like, no, it still should, at the end of the day, like, it should just be basketball that matters the most, regardless of what you want to do. But that goes out the window. And it's just, I mean, what was the poll they had? Should you be able to make contested shots or not or something? It was, I forgot what it was.
Green release?
The green release. Yeah, it was like they had a poll about the releases or something like that. Like, should you be able to make contested shots, yes or no? And I'm like, you know, Mike, y'all got all that basketball intellect in there. Like, you shouldn't be. I understand you got to please the public, but you shouldn't. There's some things that y'all should just be like, this is what needs to be tuned. And
that's a marketer question. That's something that was passed to them through marketing. I would detect that question origin.
Yeah.
That's super interesting, though. Like, at what point are we tweaking the game to encourage certain spending in certain aspects of the game, too? Like, that's a whole nother aspect to me. Like, whoa, people are leveling up way too quick. They're sharpshooters. Like, people are hitting shots from everywhere. We got to tone that down so they don't level up as fast. I mean, I don't know, but there's a whole nother thing. Like, do you artificially put, disadvantages in there to encourage spending? I don't know. Like, to me, like Smitty said, it should just come down to basketball, right? Like, contested shots should be made at a somewhat comparable percentage like they are in the real NBA, to me, right? Like, in real life, that's how it should be. Not based on, how many XP you spend on a certain trait or whatnot.
Nah, I have a gut feeling that I'm almost certain that some parts of the game come, and this is like not just 2K. This is like any game that comes out across the board that favor into this practice. They put aspects in the game that are literally broken so you can purchase DLC or not DLC or these type of microtransactions to get a certain release. I think it was 2K where some of the releases were broken, considered figured out by a lob mob that some of the releases were broken just so you can buy other releases. So I mean, I would not be surprised. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day, and when you really look at the situation, we want sports, but they are a business. You got to understand what you're up against.
That's where it becomes greasy to me, though.
It does. I mean, and I'm not disputing that. You're absolutely right, but this is one of the reasons why I play my sports games on PS3 to this day. I just don't play on next gen. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I think, like we're going to talk about later, I think Live, I think 2K, I think Madden are really good games, but that practice oversees, the way I want to play my game. So that's just where I am right now.
And from that, there's something I want to say. I didn't put that in the description or nothing like that, but this is something I want to say here. I see people on Twitter talk about how they done with Madden and all that jazz and everything else. Listen,
they'll be back.
Let me tell you, they're gonna be back. But let me just say this real quick, because that we already know that's all hogwash. But the thing is, when I look, DJ, Uber, especially VF, dudes, VF beyond measure out of anyone else. This dude got a freaking arcade going on in his house with all the stuff this cat didn't racked up. Okay, he got old stuff, new stuff, game pads, all that. So he ain't the only one that could do this. As much as people talk about old Maddens and old versions, get the dang on game and play it if you feel that bad.
No, man,
I got Madden 08 on PC.
Yeah, like seriously, like right now, if you're really fed up with Madden, or you want to talk about how great the old Maddens were, or any of the old 2K football games, you can literally buy those less than a cup of coffee right now and just enjoy yourself. I mean, why would you subject yourself to continue to talk about a game that you claim that you don't like or don't want to play when you could just spend $3, or at the most, if you don't have the console, you can spend about, you know, maybe at the most $40, have the whole console and one of these old games you claim that you hold in reverence, and just have fun. I just, to me, it's like, I'm not, like I said, I don't play Madden 18 anymore. I don't play Live. I just started playing Live 18 today for the first time in probably about 3-4 months. I mean, it's not a bad game. The game was locking up on me, and if I do get it, like, it's $15.
I saw that video too.
I need to get the game physical, because it's something about the digital copy is just not, it's just not being friendly to me. But furthermore, it's like, if I do want to play any other basketball game, I'm not about to sit here and cry about what's wrong with the current game. Right. Like Smitty said, I have a game room with almost 6,000 games in here. I'm not about to cry about 1 or 2 of them. I'm not about to do that.
When that baby comes, when that new baby comes, can I live with you? Bro, I sleep on the floor. I promise. I wash, I clean.
Whoa.
You a mess, man.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's just, it gets to the point where it's common sense. I mean, this has been going on for years for some people. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. You feel this way about said game. But when does it come to a point where you just gonna just stop and like, you know what? It is what it is. I need to find a way to enjoy myself and have fun. Now, if you're enjoying yourself by talking about Madden all day in this light, I mean, have at it. But I'm a gamer first. I'm not a complainer. I'm not gonna do it. And like I said, and my main thing, my gripe is CFM with Madden. If CFM is on point, I'll come back to it and play it. No problem. Live customization on the franchise mode. They get that, I'll play it more often. And so on and so forth. I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh man, I can't do this. And why EA does that? They're a business. They're going to do what they do. And you need to do the same. That's just the way I feel about it.
A lot of talk.
And see, you know what? Someone had told me, I forgot my man's name, but his joint on Twitter. Well, I don't know it offhand. I'd have to find it real quick. I'll shout him out, but he was saying like how, it's so hard to make change happen and all that. I'm like, no, actually, it's pretty black and white. If you are convicted with your action, if you act with conviction, like what happened with that Reddit tweet, that was action. It's just simple. People acted on it. They didn't sit there and they didn't see the post and then run to YouTube and say, oh, let me make a video. And they didn't go on Twitter and talk about folk in the community. They ain't do none of that. They just said, this is wrong. I don't like it. Got to do something about it. And that's exactly what the heck they did. They thumbed that comment down and said, this is an outrage. This is ridiculous. And from that action, look what ended up. They got a response from it. Same thing happened with Mass Effect 3 back then. People came together and acted on it. Same thing happened. Uber, NBA Live Mobile. People were upset because of the auction block fees or whatever. It was too high. People spoke on it. Look what happened. They reduced it down. EA did that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to be like they won't make changes, they'll do it if people just come out and really speak on it instead of spitting venom and just claiming you're done and all that. Be real about it. If you done, okay, look, Madden19. Let's just say they actually get CFM. Let's say they get CFM really in a good spot, or in a legit spot. You're not gonna buy it. The people that are talking that talk. If you really about that action, you're not gonna touch it until it's 110% where you want it at. That's how I feel these Battlefront people were. They were like, I have no doubt in my mind, 100%. People said, I want my refund. I want my money back. I'm canceling my order. I'm not getting this game. DJ said he wasn't getting the game. And I'm like, hey, you know what? There ain't nothing wrong with that at all whatsoever, because that is foul. What they said, like they're going to market 40 dang on hours. That's way over 40 hours, because ain't nobody playing this game, getting all those coins up and just going to just sit on them for 40 hours plus until they get one guy. They're not doing that.
There was a stat that I was watching a video. I forgot the name of the video, where they were talking about how much it would cost to unlock everything. And it was about $2,100.
That's crazy.
to unlock everything. About I don't know what. Oh, no, actually, it may have been the other way around. That's how many hours it would have taken to unlock everything.
I think I saw that too. I think that's how much. I think it is $2,100. Yeah.
But either way,
it's about well, they changed it now, but before then it was like 40 hours, but just to unlock what's his name, Darth Vader and Luke, but to get everything it's about $2,100.
Now on top of that, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at Metacritic, everybody's favorite website.
Oh,
and I'm looking at the user scores for Battlefront. 0.08 or 0.8, not 0.08, it's 0.8.
Oh.
And some of the comments, it was like, you're telling me the people made this game are gamers? They don't check other game reviews. I mean, you would think EA would learn from WB games about loot box problems. That's one person. Another person starts off the epitome of greed. Another person starts off, somewhere in here is a good game, buried underneath one of the most predatory and awful microtransaction systems that we have seen in gaming. When you're getting comments like that, and those are just a few comments, there's a total of 3,011 negative comments.
Man,
with
see?
28 mixed and 230 positive. And I'm wondering what those, and I'm starting to think that's 230 people that are carrying that game as far as financially right now. If those were all the people that bought the game or tried it out in some form or fashion, that 230 are the ones carrying that game.
Man. See?
I feel bad for the developers.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, you got to, because I mean, they have nothing to do with that side of the game.
I mean, let's face it, it's the guys in the suits really telling them what to do. And then, I mean, they had the Ask Me Anything, the Q&A kind of, man, I feel bad for those guys.
That's a waste of time. And that's a waste of time. It seems like for each game under EA, whether it's the NHL, because I swore this year NHL was going to bring something that they had in that Q&A or that survey, and it didn't come. So I'm like, everything else was good with NHL, but that's the story.
Yeah.
See, NHL's not a bad game. Yeah, it's a good game too. But see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about right there. It's like, yes, we talk about there are other modes and there's other facets. There's a lot of good stuff that's in Battlefront and even other games too, like NHL, like DJ said, and other titles. Not even, it doesn't have to be under under the EA brand, just in general. But when you have something like this overshadowing it, it's not going to matter what they did. That's going to be thrown all the way to the back.
Yeah.
They're going to look at this negative score, and that's why companies and such, they look at these reviews in such a big way, because the general public is going to look at that review. They're going to be like, yo, they gave it a 0.8, man. What the heck is going on? And hey, look, you got Black Friday coming up. You got Christmas and all that coming up. This really sucks. Like, this is a huge negative hit potentially. We'll see what happens as far as numbers are concerned. But I mean, look, people are going to make the microtransaction moves because they still want to be number one, regardless of the negativity. That still is going to happen. Oh, and you know what, DJ, the video you was watching, there was a video you had liked where there was two guys and they talked about
it was that one.
Yeah, and he said that it's like the struggle is still the same because they reduced the amount of
that there's a tactic.
The points from beating the game, beating the solo game.
Yeah, all they do is they just reduce the price, but the percentage of the struggle is the same.
Yeah, that's what it said. It was like 20,000 you would get, and they reduced it down to like 5,000. I think something like that. They said
the actual tactic is called outdating the problem. You basically just change the struggle, like you mentioned. So therefore, people that are complaining about the 40 hours will no longer complain about the 40 hours anymore, or they have nothing to complain about anymore. And now all of a sudden, you're talking about, oh, it's now 9 hours. or there's going to be a number of people that complained about the 40 hours. They're going to be satisfied with the 9. There's still going to be a certain percentage that's going to be like, you know what? I shouldn't have to grind even 9 hours, but maybe 9 hours was what they intended to put in the first place. And they just put in 40 just to get a reaction, and they knew the reaction they were going to get. So,
see, you know what though, DJ? It might not have been like that. I don't know for sure, but because when they did the beta, I seen people like, I mean, I didn't see it. Now it wasn't like the first Battlefront. I didn't see Darth Vaders and Han Solos and all that stuff.
oh, I've seen Darth Vader. I've seen Darth Vader's every single match. I got killed by a couple of them, and I was Darth Vader. Talking about the first Battlefront, not the
first
one.
Okay.
The first one, they were all over the map, and then also the originals. The original Battlefronts had everybody.
See, that's what I'm saying is in the second one, I saw it occasionally. It didn't happen all the time, but see that's the thing. I didn't know what like the limits were and all that stuff.
They probably were review copies.
I don't know. Well, back then, though, I don't know, because this was like over 2 months ago or something like that when they did that beta. I know they had a more recent one though.
Yeah, because some people are making clear when they're referencing what copy they're referencing when they're talking about what's going on with the game. They'll reference the review copy. Of course, the game through Deluxe is already out. The main game is going to be out in about 3 and some hours. 3 hours and 20 minutes. So everybody who bought the game and pre-ordered the game, the regular edition, the $60 edition, will get it at midnight. Yeah. So I know they've been careful in referencing which one. And some were saying that some of the review copies, they had characters early or something like that. So
or the point values were less or something like that, I think. All right. See, that's what I'm saying. Like when it gets, look, either way, it's a bad look for that game. And from the corporate standpoint, I don't like that one bit. But from the development level standpoint, I commend the whole team and what they spent like over 2 years working on the game. I give them props because the beta I played, just like the first part, the beta was clean. So I'm like, man, I know this game is going to be smooth. And then for them to get hit with this overhead stuff, like that's the nonsense part I don't like. Yeah, sucks. That sucks for it. But from there though, just to transition from there over to the next thing, I want to talk about this NBA Live game that we haven't. Sim and I have been meaning to talk about it like many times, and we really haven't got to it. And especially glad that Uber is on here because I know that's the live guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So without question, but I'll say this though about Live 18. Look, hey, what I'm liking, and I'm in some Facebook groups and just looking on Twitter. This whole live strike thing, even though I don't me personally, I don't like how they hyped it. Okay, I don't like how they promoted it. I say promoted it. They promoted it as if it was something huge coming like that. Now, to get clothing and everything, that's not bad. That's not bad. But what I do like about it is that you got people that are online and they're like getting up earlier and, oh man, let me get on because I got to try and get this and get that.
Wait.
What up?
Something just happened. It says EA is just going back to microtransactions just for a second. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Go.
According to Full Screen Arcade, something that I subscribe to, EA is turning off all in-app purchases for Battlefront 2.
Wow.
Okay.
Huge. Wow. That's
wow.
And I'm about to share the article on Twitter right now.
Yeah, that's pretty big if that happens.
To Smitty's point, the community speaks. They do listen, right? Exactly. Actions. This is it, right? It's.
Can you guys hear me?
Matter of fact, before we transition to
go ahead, DJ.
I'm gonna go ahead. Well, even though I shared the article, should I go ahead and read it?
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, say it, man. Go ahead.
All right. So this says an update on Star Wars Battlefront 2 from Oscar Gabrielson, GM of DICE. Basically says, thank you to everyone in our community for being the passionate fans that you are. Our goal has always been to create the best possible game for all of you, devoted Star Wars fans and game players alike. We've also had an ongoing commitment to constantly listen, tune, and evolve the experience as it grows. You've seen this with both the major adjustments and polish, and we have made over the past several weeks. But as we approach the worldwide launch, it is clear that many of you feel there are still challenges in the design. We've heard the concerns about potentially giving players unfair advantages. And we've heard that this is overshadowing an otherwise great game. This was never our intention. Sorry, we didn't get this right. We hear you loud and clear. So we're turning off all in-game purchases. We will now spend more time listening, adjusting, balancing, and tuning. Wow. This means that the option to purchase crystals, the kyber crystals I would take, in the game is now offline, and all progression will be earned through gameplay. The ability to purchase crystals in-game will become available at a later date, only after we've made changes to the game. We'll share more details as we work through this. We have created a game that is built on your input, and it will continue to evolve and grow. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is 3 times the size of the previous game, bringing to life a brand new Star Wars story, epic new multiplayer experiences across all 3 Star Wars eras, with more free content to come. We want you to enjoy it, so please keep your thoughts coming, and we will keep you updated on our progress.
Yo, I was just reading that while you was reading that too, DJ. See? You see that?
Where's this article? Where's this article? I want to read it.
No, DJ just tweeted it. He just
I know. Oh, you tweeted
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And then I just tweeted it too. So off of his, he put up, yo, see that right there? That right there, yeah, I gotta make sure. Hey, I'm with you on that, DJ. I gotta make sure I caught that toy.
I am getting it now. That's all I was about to go into a tirade about that before I had to leave. And thank God that I saw that pop up. I had to wave it. I was like, no.
Okay, I see it.
This is breaking news.
Yeah.
Like, this is breaking news.
It's a good on them, right? And also what a great marketing strategy to do this 3 hours before launch, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect time.
If you're gonna do it, now is the time.
Oh man. See what happens. See that community, dog. That's it, dog. It's as simple as showcasing conviction with your actions. Simple as that.
And we can't get no changes to CFM though.
That's
We've been speaking for a decade now.
Strength in numbers, man. We need to, if we had one of them comments downvoted 400,000 times.
Right.
Yeah, but we can't. Well, we can't get 1,000 votes in a freaking petition.
Yeah, hey, we can't.
Two of them.
You couldn't even. No, matter of fact, no, you can't even get. You can't even get 8,000. Matter of fact, 500. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm for real. Like, honestly, it's sad to say that, but that's the reality. Like, that's for real. I'm like, I mean, hey, VF and DJ know. I did videos back then, Sim Sandy channel and all that, and my personal channel. I did a breakdown of it, like how I had all these video views, but back then, 200 some odd signatures, tens of thousands of video views, likes and all that stuff, but no one was signing.
And it's like, what the hell's the petition?
What are you doing? Yeah, I'm like, what are y'all doing? I'm like, y'all said y'all so mad. Come on, let's go. That's why when I went down to EA, became a game changer, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on the goal. Because obviously there's a lot of people out here that are talking, but they're not serious about making that move. I want to make the move. So what needs to be done to make those moves? If I can learn more and see how things work so I can make those moves, that's what I'm going to do. And see, that's what I like about crowds like Star Wars and Mass Effect. You have devoted people in those crowds that'll be like, look, This is what we want, and let's make that change happen. And the funny thing is, Star Wars Battlefront ain't out yet. It's out in a few hours, and they made these moves. But you had Mass Effect. It was Mass Effect 3, if I'm not mistaken. People bought the game. They were upset with the ending of it. These people already paid the $65. And they was like, yo, we're going to get this money together. Look, EA or BioWare, y'all make a better ending. We'll give you guys the money to make it. That's crazy. And they already bought it. And I'm like, you got people here that won't even sign something like DJ said. You won't sign a free petition. So it's simple, man. You just gotta be, you gotta be willing to stand behind your belief. What you post online, that's fine to share it, but you can't be the grumpy old man on the porch shaking your fists all day. You gotta actually get out in the streets and march on something and believe it. Yep. Star Wars did it. These Mass Effect people did it. Hey, NBA Live Mobile people did it. It's no different. Like no different here. So, but yeah, DJ, thank you for coming across that and sharing that, because that's ginormous. I'm making sure that I will purchase after this show over. I'm making sure I'm gonna go ahead and purchase that joint.
Yeah, I mean, because definitely. Because with that being said, a lot of people. They're going to buy the game now, and rightfully so, because not only that the loot boxes and the microtransactions have diminished. I mean, they're not diminished; they're gone completely. So it gives you a sense of, okay, everybody's on a level playing field. Right. And that's a win-win for every gamer. Nobody wants to get in the game knowing that somebody spent $200 on something and they can beat you easily, and they may not even know how to play the game. The fact that they spent that money, a skilled player could be had by a less skilled player. That's not fair when in gaming in general.
That's true.
And my whole thing from the very beginning, when that started to pop up with EA, was like, why? Star Wars sells itself.
Yes.
People will buy it
exactly.
Star Wars. They do that for all the movies. They do it for all the merchandise. It doesn't matter. You don't have to put something shiny on Chewbacca. People will get it. Will get him anyway.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they realize to this day, and I'm a big original Xbox collector. Star Wars the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 is still being played online to this day.
I love that game.
You know what I'm saying? So they know what they got in their hands. It's just that you don't have to exploit the situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, it's funny that a game that was 15 years old, they still have private servers for people playing that old game on the original Xbox. That's how beloved that Star Wars is in general.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm like honestly, I'm holding back a lot of emotions because Star Wars has been a part of my life forever. I'm like, I was born 3 years after the first Star Wars Episode 4, for the keeping count, and it's just like I reference a lot of things off those movies, all of them. I'm like, I've watched pretty much I didn't read the books or anything. I've pretty much not read everything. I've watched all the movies, the animated series and stuff like that. And it was just like, there's no way that I thought there was no way that any company, not Disney, not Lucasfilm, could ruin Star Wars, and EA had to try to do this. I was just like, no, this is the one franchise that you do not have to touch. You don't have to do anything. You didn't do anything last game.
I mean, a lot of people.
Do it this game?
A lot of people just don't realize that EA in general, they have a great ecosystem and concept to have great games. It's just that the people above are the ones that are ruining them. I mean, it's just. Yeah. I mean, it's not the developers' fault. It's not the people who have the ideas to put the games together. It's the ones who have to answer to the shareholders. And it sucks because EA has been a part of everyone's life for at least since 1989, if not longer. So, I mean, for them to, think about it, for them to even be around still to this day is amazing, because there are a lot of great, companies that made fantastic games. You don't see them anymore. I mean, you look at Konami. Where are they? You know what I mean? You look at Jelco, all these great companies that actually had good stuff. Jelco is the company that made Bases Loaded.
Oh yeah.
I mean, great games, great company, and they made great games outside of Bases Loaded. It's just that they're not around anymore. You know, it's just that you don't see stuff like that. You know, outside of EA, I think they're like one of the only ones that are still around since the late '80s. So they have the ecosystem, and even to this day, with their games, people can say what they want about them. They may not be as quality as you want them to be or whatever. They're not that bad as of now, to the point where you can play it and have a pretty decent time. And, you know, it's just that if the suits just let the game speak for itself, I think it'd be in a much better situation.
Yeah, I agreed. And Smitty, I don't know if you were probably at the presser at EA Play, right?
I was outside. I didn't get in. I didn't get in until just about when you guys were done. Like when it was over. So I missed that.
But they made a big on Star Wars, you know, the big issue with the first one was the game got a lot better as time went on, right? Like they had DLC and stuff, and their big thing was no paid DLC in this Star Wars, right? I think I remember that was like one of the big points, that all the DLC will basically be free for this Star Wars battle. And I remember like people were like so excited in there. I mean, they were clapping. They were like, oh my. So good on them to do this now. But man, I just wish it would have been this way the whole time, you know, the whole way along.
I agree.
Because the game had some really positive, it had some good vibe, you know, coming into it. It's just such a bummer that it just got overshadowed by this negative stigma just in the past week. You know, it's just such a bummer because they got everything else right. It looks like they listened to the community from the first one, right? I mean, they put in the story, they did all this stuff that the community was asking for. So, I mean, good on them to do this now. I really hope this is still going to be a successful, successful launch.
It will.
Star Wars. It should be, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. They may not get all the numbers coming out based on it would have, because the news is late. But you wait till the end of the week. I think people are really going to understand. Oh, they took all this stuff out of the game, so therefore, you know, I'll buy the game at the end of the weekend because it is Friday coming up. So you won't see may not a big day one purchase, but give it to the end of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, give
I'm going on PSN right now.
Yeah.
Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
I literally said I was skipping this game, and then have that news pop up. Yeah, I'm almost there.
I can't get mad at it. Like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get that deluxe edition or whatever with the extras and stuff. Because like that's what I.
Oh no, I'm keeping it at 60. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, see, you good. You good. I was saying, but see, I said, you know, basically to myself that I was going to get the one with the extras, because the reason why is because when I saw like what Uber talking about, but even before that, they did an initial presentation a few months before EA Play, and that's when they first unveiled the game, and they talked about everything. They laid it all out like, oh, we got these 2 different editions. We got the classes, and oh, by the way, all the DLC is going to be in there. We got all the universes. I'm like, oh, for that, I'll go ahead and cop it, because you know the first, because of if you're putting everything in there in one fell swoop like that, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I don't mind paying the money because, and that's the other reason why, is because the quality of the first game. I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I had no problem dropping that extra money and saying, you know what, I'll drop the extra, I'll drop the 80 and get that, because it's worth it. You know what I mean? So
the big issue people had with the last one was they felt the day one, the hardcore gamers that really got behind the day one felt let down, because the game on day one really wasn't the game that they had on day 200 or whatever. You know, the game got a lot better. So you had a different experience depending on what time you jumped into the game. And people were upset about, hey, you know, I made the initial investment, $60. Now I'm being asked to pay all this money to make this game kind of complete, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And that was a big talking point. They said, we're gonna change that. We're gonna have all this stuff in the game from start. You know, you're not going to get charged for DLC. And people were so ecstatic about it, including myself. I'm like, okay, You know, now like that's something, because I played it when it first came out, I think on EA Access last year, and I wasn't super impressed. But then my buddies were playing it, you know, a few months later, and I'm like, oh, this game is pretty good. I might pick it up. And when they just said that, I said, you know what, I'm a day one guy now, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. But no, what are you gonna say, VF?
Oh no. He covered it. I'm good.
Okay, all right. Is there any other A bombs up there, DJ?
Breaking news.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we need a little update like noise. Like
that was a landmine slapper right there. He just slapped us in the face with it like, bow, check this out.
He was going like this. Hold up. Yeah. Hold up. Whoa.
You know, it's funny because I'm used to doing that because I play wide receiver. And speaking of which, hold up. The league that I play in, this for those as I knock the phone over. Those that don't know, my team won the championship this year. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Oh, let's go.
Run and shoot.
Yep. Yeah, we won the championship. I scored a touchdown in that game and ended the game on a knockdown. So
nice.
Finally won one after all these years.
That's all right, man. Congrats.
Yeah, man.
And thank you. And then for a while, I was thinking about just hanging it up. But I was like, nah, I want to come back and defend the crown. So by the springtime, come back, defend the title. If I win it 2 times in a row, then yeah, I'll hang it up.
Walk away champion, John Elway.
Right. John Elway, yeah.
Except I got way more championships than Elway.
Oh,
I have way more. Honestly, I've won way more championships than the Boston Celtics. So not as many as the Yankees, but I've won more than the Boston Celtics. So I've done it all. And
that's a lot of work,
bro. I'm like not even in the top 3 in my own house.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh wow.
I'm not even in the top 3 power rankings in my own apartment.
It's nice in football. You know how like players talk about they've won it in high school, they won it in college, they won it. Well, I didn't win it in college. I was a part of the team in semi-pro, and obviously won in high school, and then going back middle school and stuff like that. Multiple times in middle school, you know, in football, winning championships in baseball, championships in basketball, including team captain in a team that was a pure underdog because all I did was draft a big man and have role players around the 2 of us and wanted to win the whole thing anyway.
Hey, that's
what's
up. Nice.
That is what's up.
But as far as any more breaking news, that one came just on time because this is the time where I had to bow out. It's 9:02, so I gotta head out.
All right,
DJ. Appreciate you, man. You take it easy, bro.
Good talking to you
guys.
Man.
Same here. And you guys have a good rest of the show.
All right, man. DJ 81 coming through, man. He dropped a, like I said, slapper right there, man. Talking about staying on, like, whoa, hold on a second. Wait. Like, dang. That's
Adrian Wojnarowski.
Man, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You know what? So to bring it back around to NBA Live 18,
yeah.
This is. I was very impressed with what they did with the live run as far as not emphasizing microtransaction or any of that stuff.
I mean, they did. Yeah, Live been doing a pretty good job of that since 16, and that's one thing I've always commended them for. Because once they started doing their own, you know, creative player, my player thing, well, I can't speak for 15 because I didn't play too much of it. I played mostly the franchise, but with 16, I noticed that you actually had to go in and play. You couldn't buy anything to level up your character. I always commended them for that. That has always been a good move.
Yeah. And see, you know, what I also like is that, you know, with the updates, but see, we know how they do it live with the updates. They always, you know, they're smoothing gameplay out in certain areas. They're refining things, adding more animations to the game. Like I see guys, you know, tweet, as well as some guys I've talked to on Facebook. They're seeing animations that were recently, like dunk animations that were recently added. They ain't never seen before. You know what I mean? So it's like they're just coming across it. And see what I was saying before, like before with DJ made the announcement there about Star Wars, was that with this whole live strike, even though I don't like how they promoted it, I get the gear stuff, but what I am liking, it brings the intrigue of, man, I'm trying to get that gear. So let me try and get on, because the stuff is happening at different times of the day. So they're trying to capture, you know, man, I want those particular Iversons, or how they get that, how did he get that jersey? What did he do to get that? So it's like you're creating that level of, yo, I got to get on. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to get on, man. I want to at least play these games. See, and the cool part about it is, it's smart how they did it. Short games, real short games. It's up to 7 short games, and you can get the stuff real quick and keep it moving. If you unlock, you know, like the 4 pieces or 3 or whatever at that point in time, then you're good. Right. You know what I'm saying? And you just wait till later. No, go ahead, Uber. Go ahead, man.
And a very underrated part, I think, is you can do it with your friends, which is cool. You can hop, like I was in there with my buddy the other night, and we were, you know, we're like, okay, we're gonna have to win at least 4 or 5 times here to get every item. And then we'd be, you know, in the chat, what did you get in this crate? I got the Iversons. Oh man, I got the shorts. Like, and it kind of creates, you know, it's hype, but it's good, you know. And the bottom line, like to your point, Smitty, people getting excited to get into the game, and not just like, how can I get this? How much am I gonna have to spend on this? But rather just by playing the game.
Yeah, it's not intrusive, you know.
Exactly. And you know, you're hitting up your friends. You're like, hey man, let's hop on. Let's try to get those Iversons. Let's try to get that undefeated jersey. I love that. I really love that.
I mean, it takes it back. It takes it back to a time where games were games. You go back to the NES, Super NES. You play the game and you unlock stuff by playing the game and achieving stuff in the game, not because you pull out your credit card. So I mean, it's such a refreshing feeling for players in general just to have that, because you don't get that anymore. Like with Madden. I mean, a lot of people talk about Ultimate Team. I'm not a big fan of it per se, but I remember back in Madden 05 when you actually played the game to get Madden cards, and you actually went in and do this and do that to achieve a certain player because you ran for like 150 yards or something in the game, and then you can unlock that Madden card. It wasn't just, let me pull out my credit card and get some coins. It's just a satisfying feeling because you earned that. You didn't buy it, you earned it. And in video games, that's what it's about. You play the game, you get things by based on your skill, and when you achieve that, that's what gaming is all about. You don't play a game just to be, oh, I'm good because I'm playing the game. You get good by playing the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you're right. And you know something, to that point, there was a comment earlier on that CMAD had posted. He had posted a comment about, for children that are playing the game, censoring the Ultimate Team modes for the kids, so that way they're not saying, hey mom, dad, let me get your credit card information, blah blah blah, putting it behind like some kind of wall where they can't do that, and but they could still unlock cards and packs and stuff.
Even just locking the store, maybe, right?
I mean,
like, you know, if your parents put, like, there should be like a parental thing, like where you can.
I totally agree with that. I agree with that.
And then like you can lock the store, but you can still have your kids play Ultimate Team, do all the grind, do the life events, whatever they want to do, but you lock the store in some capacity, or you put it in another place where, you know, you have control over it as a parent.
But you know what? To add to that, see, the thing VF thought is what I would like. How in Madden 05 and 04 and those other games, you achieve certain milestones. You get 150 running yards. You get this, you get that. You got your bronze level, elite level. You know what I mean? Yeah. Have rewards based off of you just putting the work in. And even when you're in games, hey, I get this pack because I won the game. I get this card type or whatever because I got X amount of yards. I got this many sacks. I got that many INTs. And that's, you know what I mean? So it's like you can still implement it into the system, just have a safeguard there. So it's like they're not paying for it, but they still have that sense of accomplishment that, you got to work a little bit harder, but you still have a chance, like a good chance to make a team.
I mean, most kids are inclined to play that format anyway. They're not thinking about, when they're picking up a game, they're not thinking about buying something to get better. The kids actually want to play the game.
True.
You know, I mean, that's almost like a no-brainer to do that.
And you know, some games do it better than others. Like, to me, MLB The Show comes to mind. To me, that's still pretty good as far as grinding. The grind to reward ratio is still pretty good.
Yeah,
you know,
I can agree with that.
Most of the people I play with are free to play players, and they've had very competitive teams. I mean, from the get. And oftentimes, now here's the cool thing. Like, a guy like me, I don't have that much. I play everything, so I really don't have that much time to play anything that much. Like, I play a little bit of everything. So I do buy packs here and there, but like, oftentimes I'm actually low-key jealous at the cards that they've grinded for. You know what I mean? And sometimes those rewards, like, those rewards should be really awesome. Like, if you grind for 30 hours for a certain player card, that reward should be better than almost anything you can get in a store or out of a pack, to me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a balancing thing, but like, to me, you know, I look at my buddies who just grind free-to-play players, and oftentimes they have way better cards than I've gotten in packs, spending money, and like, to me, that's a good balance because it promotes both. You know, you can buy packs, you can get awesome players that way, but you know, you can get certain really rare cards only by grinding. You know, only by actually playing the game, because that's what, like, you know, to you guys' point, that's what it should be about, anyways, playing the game.
Yeah, that's what it should be about. It always should be about playing the game, not how much, you know, how much a company can get out of us money wise. It should never be about that.
Yeah. And see, now back on the live tip, and matter of fact, my thing is with NBA Live Mobile, I feel, especially with that season 2 they got, that should be the ultimate team on the console. Like, my honest opinion. I know VF, I know you probably haven't played it at all, but
no, I haven't touched it.
Saying, the cool, see, this is the cool part about it. You can take a player, you could get, if your player is a gold, I think you can't do it with any other player. He has to be at least a gold player. So let's say gold players they started like 70, 71 overall, right? Now, let's say you open up packs, because you get packs, you know, from doing the missions, objectives, playing head-to-head games, all that. You get a good amount of packs, and good amount of coins, and you go ahead and you get yourself a pack or two, get a beginner's pack or a general pro pack or whatever. You open those packs up, those players, like, let's say you get some lower rated players, okay? You can take those lower rated players and invest them into that 70 overall player and level him up. And he can end up being a 72, a 73 overall player, because you took players that you're not going to use. Instead of just discarding them for some coins, you can invest them because they all have values. So if it's a good player, he may be 2,000-3,000 or whatever in value, and you can level them up because they go up to like maybe like 4 to 6 levels or something like that.
Yeah, five overall points.
5, yeah.
Like, in FIFA, it's even more. In Madden, I think. Madden, well, you can go up like 12. But like, to me, it opens up the game, right? Like, you know, because like, okay, let's say you're from Croatia, and your favorite Croatian player who's from your hometown is playing on the Sixers, but he's a bench player, and in the game he's only a 68 overall. But you love this guy. Like, now it gives you a chance to kind of like, you know, it's kind of a role-playing thing, almost like, to where you can level the guy up to your liking, and you can say like, man, this dude, like, you know, now, like, he went from a 58 overall to an 80 overall. Now he's a starter. Like, it just opens the game up so much. I couldn't agree with you more, Smitty, on that. I love that concept.
And then plus, and not only that, putting the players in, but then you also got the training stuff, you know, different levels of that, and you can use that to level up. And then what I really like, I like when you do theme stuff based upon what's going on in the season, and you got Dirk, and you could start them off 41 overall Dirk, and then they literally got training missions, and it's kind of like it's like what's going on with the live strike, how you gotta certain times of the day, if you got the game fired up, oh snap, there's the mission, bet I could play it now. And you go ahead and play it because it may not be there later. It's only going to be there but for so long and you may miss out. You could level him up from basically 41 overall all the way up to 94.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you can do the same thing. Throw players at them, build them up that way, or you get these particular training points that just level them up one whole point by default, and you could just keep getting them. So you got to do that for however long they keep that going.
Yep.
That kind of stuff is cool because it's like if this is his last season, which I'm pretty sure I assume this be his last year in the league, to do something like that, that's like a send off. That stuff is cool. And that's the kind of stuff that'll keep you engaged amongst other things. Plus, you got your two different team types. You got your current NBA team and you got your classic NBA team with old school players, young, old, you know, like ABA, NBA, black and white versus color, you know, screen, you know. You got all
mediocre, like, you know, quote unquote, mediocre classic NBA players. Who may not be Hall of Famers, but who may have meant something to you at a certain time in your life, right? Like I came across Bonzi Wells. I'm a Blazer fan.
Okay.
I'm a trader tonight, but I got this at EA Play actually. That was a free hat. I'm rocking. But anyway, I came across Bonzi Wells the other night. I'm like, that's dope. You know, that's cool. Like he's not a Hall of Famer, but I'm gonna put him in my little Blazer themed lineup. Like that's cool. You know.
See, and that's what I'm saying. And then plus you got the coach. Coaches have specific schemes they run when it comes to defense, what kind of offense they run. Like that stuff right there, that's great. I love that stuff, man. And see, that's the level of detail that I would love to have seen in the live Ultimate Team on the console. But what I will say though, and it's interesting to see Shake and Bake. He's flipped from doing the 2K stuff. He's like, man, 2K tripping. This NBA Live is where it's at. Look how they doing when it comes to these packs. See, that's a big time guy, you know, very known guy, and he's bringing attention to the LUT market. And you can get these legit players, and it doesn't cost 8 arms and 36 legs to get them.
Yeah,
that's the best part about it. You don't have to buy, you know, if you get if you buy a bundle, if you choose to, or even if you buy special packs, you're talking about a few bucks, like maybe $5. Okay. Now, if you care to invest in it, and see, this is how I feel about tapping on the microtransaction bit. If you care about the game, or if it's a game you support and you support the work the devs did, and you're like, you know what, because I enjoy the value of this game and I'm really having a good time with it, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw a few dollars in there, and I'll buy a pack or I'll purchase every so often. Heck, I've done it with Live Mobile. Typically, beforehand, I wouldn't even dare do it, but I enjoy the game, and I'm up here playing it. Like when I was out of town, like a few weeks ago, I was playing that. I was, you know, because I was playing when the season had came out, like a little bit after it had updated. Man, I'm on that thing all day. I gotta recharge my energy and all that stuff so I can play more challenges and stuff.
Right.
But because I'm having so much fun, I'm like, man, I don't mind buying a bundle. They got good prices on those bundles and stuff, and they had like 2 for 1. Buy, you know, get 2 or 3 packs for the price of 1, you know, and I'm like, oh, bet. I got the coins, let me use that.
Yeah.
Dollars in there, let me go ahead and do that. And this is the same thing with Live on a console. Because of the progression they're making, and plus they make it feasible to get players. Like I bought one pack, and I got Larry Nance and Amari Stoudemire in it when they did that Phoenix Suns joint the other day. I'm like, yo, like, all right, see this here, I won't have a problem. Like I don't mind periodically dropping a little something and doing it.
I mean, but see, that's totally different from, you know, having to deal with intrusive microtransactions.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's
what you're doing. Yeah, what you're doing, it's no different than giving off a tip to somebody at the diner. I mean, they give out a good product, or somebody treats you right at a diner, you're going to break them off a little bit, something extra. Nothing wrong with that, because you know that's how you feel about the game. Yeah, it's totally different from like, okay, you're playing NBA Live Mobile, and you have to worry about just getting certain things that should be essential to the game. That's not fair.
Right.
You know, it's totally different. So no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Have you guys spent any time on MUT, Madden Ultimate Team, this year?
Not this year, no.
I did some, yeah.
Like, to me, they did some things right there. There's certain packs in the store now, and even when you buy bundles, you'll have a topper. Let's say you're getting an elite player as a topper.
Mm-hmm.
But in past years, it was just an elite player, random elite player. Now, it could be a guy that really does you no good, you know, depending where you are with your team. This year, they almost have a little bit of a draft format on some of these packs. I love that. So you get your elite topper. Okay, you're on to that little menu, and it says, okay, do you want an offensive player or defensive player? So it's almost like a little draft. So I'm like, okay, I need to shore up my defensive player. Now it'll give you 3 elite cards, random, different overalls even. You know, they're not all the same. Like, you can luck out and get a 90 overall, even though it tells you you're only really getting an 84 plus overall. But it could be a 90. Right. And it adds even more excitement, right? Because now you have a chance of 1 of 3 cards. And it's almost like what's behind door number 1, 2, or 3. But you get to see them all, which is cool. And then you get to pick your choice, which I really love. I just like when there's transparency. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't like when there's a bundle topper and you really don't know what you're getting. Like, if I'm gonna spend $50, I'm okay with spending $50, but tell me that it's gonna make my team better, or tell me that I'm gonna be able to use that. You know what I mean? At some capacity. Tell me that I can at least auction him off and get some coins if I really don't like him. Something like that, right? As long as there's transparency, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And see, you know what? And I'll say, from the side of Madden, going back to the side of Live, what I would like to see in Live, well, you know what? Live Mobile has it. I want to see it in NBA Live, especially in franchise mode. Those chemistries that they got for the different, you know, like the player types they have in Live. You got the defensive and the balance and all that stuff, whatever. I mean, I know I'm naming it off wrong, but for the different player types, I mean, this is even in season 1, but for the different player types you have, I want to see chemistries, like have a chemistry system where it matters who, like what kind of players you have, how they feed off of each other, what kind of offenses they run. Does that work for the kind of players you got in your scheme? Right. You know, is their overall going to go up because of the type of coach you have, or is it going to be balanced? Is it just going to be, you know, is it going to be even, or is it going to be a negative for certain players because of the kind of offense you use, or, you know, the certain adjustments, like the way your coaches, the style of play they have, it doesn't fit. And you put somebody in there that doesn't fit, it's going to bring your team morale down. Just like, okay, like, look, Pistons in real life. Avery Bradley, that move made a big difference for the Pistons, right? It's not necessarily the numbers he puts up, because obviously, look at the team across the board. It's not just his numbers that are really doing it. He's not out there averaging 25 a game, but it's what he brought to the table and into the system that Stan Van Gundy uses. Right. So that turns things around. Yep. You can have that kind of impact. I want that happening in NBA Live, and and that's saying it in Madden too, because Madden doesn't have that. Everything I see in MUT, I want to see all that stuff in CFM. I want to see those chemistries, and I want to see those player traits, those ability traits they got. Yep. I want to see that in Madden too. So whenever I see it in MUT, I'm like, okay, bet. That means that at some point, this has to go in Madden, not Madden. It has to go in CFM, because you can't tell me that you got this offensive line chemistry or defensive line chemistry with these kind of players, and you're telling me you can't get that system to work right. Just adjust it. Like,
it's already there.
Yeah, like exactly. Like,
you got it in there already.
Just adjust the names of it, but make it work. Like, okay, if you scout, or if you look at the type of players, the type of quarterback, I got a scrambling QB. I got a zone blocking offensive lineman. I got a vertical threat tight end. You know, like, if you have based upon the coach you got, is he the right kind of coach that's going to fit? But you got to make all that stuff matter. It shouldn't be, I got Jim Caldwell and I can adjust him to whatever style I want to, and he's just gonna be that. Like, no, it has to be. This is a coach I got. This is a system that he runs. Now I got to make my squad fit based upon that. That's what needs to happen with Madden. There needs to be a restriction where it's like, dang, okay, like in live mobile, this is the system I'm in. I got to work with this. So I can't forcibly say my coach is going to run this offense, play defense. When it comes to defensive pressure, they're going to do this. There has to be some level of restriction as far as what you cannot adjust based upon that coach. Like, there's got to be like hard set ratings or something like that where he can't change, he can't adjust. And if you do go into the options and you're able to adjust like playbooks and such, there needs to be a potentially either a positive or a negative because you made that adjustment. So you can't just simply do it. You'll bring your team, it'll bring the team down. Right. Your defense may go down because you picked a defense you personally want to run, but they won't execute it as well. Right. Their rating will decrease. So I want to see that kind of stuff because that lends to the immersion and even the strategy, like what you said, Uber, about MUT. You know what it is that you're getting. So it's like that whole draft mindset. Right. Who do I want to pick? What kind of player do I want to get? Right.
What do I need? So, do I need a fast outside linebacker, or do I need a big bruising D lineman? Right. Yeah. And FIFA is really the one that FIFA Ultimate Team are the ones that started the whole chemistry thing.
Yes, you're right.
And I will say in FIFA it is hugely important to have chemistry. I mean, I'm talking, and that's, I think, where NBA Live Mobile is still lagging a little bit. I don't notice the difference in gameplay as much as I would like to.
Gotcha.
Depending on the coach that I have in there. Now, in FIFA FUT, you go online and you have a 50 chemistry team and you're going up against a 100 chemistry team that might be rated lower than yours overall, but as 100 chemistry, you will notice the difference. You will get blown out. It's a stark difference. And I like that because I should be getting punished for just throwing people out there that that might not fit the right system, that might not play the same even in real life, right? I should get punished for that. So somebody that actually takes the time and puts together a team of players that are playing in the same system or whatnot under the same coach should get that boost. So I really want to see it reflected on the field or on the court, as much as it is reflected on just the UI screen where it just shows you a bunch of green lines or whatnot. But I really want to see a big boost,
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, but see, the main thing is, though, even with all that, the most important thing, and like you said, that really segues into the next point, is that the core gameplay, it has to be tangible to really showcase it. Yeah. Now, when I look at Madden, not Madden, excuse me. Well, yes, we could definitely say Madden. If I want to we need to see the gameplay tangibly reflect first and foremost before we can talk about these chemistries and stuff really mattering. I mean, add them in, build it accordingly. Now, I'm not saying don't add it, but what I'm saying, though, is that we need to see the gameplay tangibly reflect these elements the right way.
Don't just make it a fancy looking graphic, right?
Yeah,
you want to feel it on the sticks, like
exactly.
Right?
I want to see it. I want to feel, because you can't control everybody. So you draft, you get your free agents, you put those guys into the game. I want to see these guys reflect what I picked. The players I picked up accordingly. I need to see that, and Madden doesn't reflect that right now. I would say not to the extent of a game like a FIFA or a PES. They reflect it a lot better. And heck, NBA Live even. Your personnel, like when I I was going through the struggle before before I opened up some packs and stuff. Before I had, I had earned some rewards and everything, and I updated my team. Look, because they start you off with a base team and you got garbage.
Yeah.
But when you start playing those trainings and stuff like that, going through the training camp and all that, and I'm playing, and it's like, okay, I'm seeing my guy. He's starting to come up some. He's building up. You know, my team is not as bad. It's like I just got past challenges, but then when I get past those challenges, I get, like I said, I got my pack. I got Amari and Larry Nance out there. Oh my gosh, game changers! Like it's the whole game. It's like having Ralph Sampson down there with Keem Olajuwon. Like they just got it on lock down there. Yep. It's crazy. So and see, that's why I'm saying that difference comes in. I want to see the difference. I want to feel the difference when it comes to the players that I got on the court. I want to see the same thing happen with Madden. You know, and if they do that with Madden and have it give the visual appeal of FIFA, that would be outstanding for them to get it like that. So that's why I'm glad. Look, they took a L with Madden 18 with the hardship and all the stuff they had to do with getting the game over. Take the L for that. But it's a huge win in the long run because with them being on Frostbite, along with, you know, other games, they'll be able to pull from those games and start to implement those things into Madden, which could help Madden get better quicker. Yeah. So that's a big plus. It's just a matter of when are these things going to happen.
Yep. So and more to that point, do you guys, let me ask you this, because maybe I'm mostly a MUT guy. So maybe it's different for me, but do you guys, like, when you're playing with Aaron Rodgers or you're playing with Marshawn Lynch, like, do you guys feel like you're playing with those players, or is it just a name under the player with certain attribute traits that kind of reflects what the player is doing in real life, or what his attribute? Like, do you guys feel like you're actually playing with that player? Does he behave the way that he does in real life to you?
I will say with Madden 18 is probably the first time I felt like that in a while, but it's not where it should be.
Okay.
I think Mutt does a better job of that, and that's based on the little bit of time I've played with Mutt. But I know that's something that definitely will be pushed going forward. Well, it should be anyway. Yeah. Because that's something that's been missing, you know, for a while now.
Yeah, and to me, that's something that's missing in NHL a little bit too.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
I like the game, but I'm going to be honest with you. No matter what team I play with, it feels the same to me. Like I don't really. If I have Ovechkin, like I can't really tell the difference from another decent player, a good player. Like I want to see that difference. Like Pez, to me, even FIFA too, you got Messi, you can kind of feel that you got Messi, like you got Ronaldo, like they really seem to play the same way they do on the, like you can tell they stand out on the pitch, you know.
I think that's one thing that the basketball games, both Live and 2K they do that very well. You're not going to be able to play like a point guard with a 7-footer unless if you play online with that, you know, with the VC situation. But if you play the game straight up with the teams that are already in the game, you're not going to have a situation where you can have, you know, Robin Lopez, you know, dribbling and breaking ankles or whatever. That's just not going to happen.
Yep.
And that's for both games, you know. So it's
right. Just and same on your creative player too. Like I know, like I have a stretch big, and as soon as I start trying to cross people up, like. And it's somewhat arcadey because it's life run you on the street, but I still can't cross up, you know, point guards.
Right. And in reality, you shouldn't. And if you do,
exactly.
And if you do, it's very rare. So
right.
So I'll totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing with that. Like I had, and I got to get this video out to Clint too, because we had a discussion, and I was making a point about FIFA, how the interactions are with FIFA versus how it is with Madden. And he brought up a point saying, from like, okay, the 2-man animations you have to depict penalties and when they occur. In Madden, it's a 2-man animation. There is no dynamic to it. It's a 2-man, it's scripted. That's like, you know, it's predetermined outcome and that's it. But FIFA is more based upon what are you doing? Like how, if you're being too aggressive defending, if I am, or if the CPU is, it's like, dang, ref, really? Like, you know, like when you gonna blow the whistle on this? And that's the difference. That's the difference with that game versus what's in Madden. And the point I was making to him was, he was saying like, well, what if you have the camera view? From the camera view perspective, does it give the visual that you see what's happening? And I did a video basically where I played from the Pro View camera that's kind of, it's elevated like Madden, but not the exact same way, but it still is an elevated view of the field from behind the player perspective. And it's like, yeah, you can see clear as day when there's a penalty, or you can see if somebody is being too aggressive or too rough. You can clearly see what they're doing. And that's the whole thing. And it's organic in the sense of how it happens. Madden, though, on the other hand, it's like it's this sequence that has to play out, or, you know, this two-man animation. I want it to be different, where if a defender does one thing and I'm doing something else, if he just so happens to, he must have mistimed his play, or he wasn't looking back at the ball, and he's trailing. Like, let's say, you know, like how they do the trail technique in the game. He's trailing, and he just throws his hands up, and I'm trying to catch the ball, and he just blindly plows into me with his hands up. That's two separate interactions. I'm trying to catch it. He plows into me like with his hands up. There should be a penalty call. You know, right. That's pass interference right there, because he's like, dude, you weren't even looking. Now, if he was looking back and he was doing this and looked back and he runs into me, that would not be a penalty. That kind of stuff, because you do that, now I could tell you the story as to why it happened, and I'm like, okay, I can live with that. But when it's a two-man sequence that just plays out, it's like there's nothing to tell. It's just like, oh well, it triggered bet. All right, cool. I already know I'm about to win that one. But see, when the stuff is organic, or at least it gives the organic appeal, like what FIFA does, and NHL does it too, to an extent. I can tell you what happened and look at it and be like, I don't know, man, that could have been a 50-50 right there. But I can look at it though and tell you, heck, you could take people and see it and say, okay, you know what? Yeah, I can see why they call that, or I can see how that could be a no call. And plus, and in FIFA, referees have personality. Like, they have set, everybody doesn't officiate the same, like MLB The Show. They all don't have the same strike zone. Right. So I'm like, that's something I would love to see in Madden. But once again, you're talking about the NFL, and what are they going to actually allow people, allow them to do? Yeah.
I would like to see some of those animations too, like they have in FIFA, where you just fouled somebody badly and you're thinking, oh crap, I'm in the yellow. But then they cut to the scene where the referee's kind of talking to you. Okay, he's just warning me. Sweet. Like, I want to see those kind of animations, those interactions with the ref sometimes. It sounds silly, but like, I don't know. I'm a nerd for that guy. Like, the auxiliary stuff just authenticates the games to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, there's nothing wrong with that, because those type of things make a sports title. A lot of people don't know that. It makes a sports title. It's not just, I want to just play the game. When you're looking at authenticity or a simulation, you want exactly what you see if you're at a game or if you're actually playing in the game.
Right.
So I totally, there's nothing wrong with that.
2K does that really well, right? Like with the
they do.
I mean, they do the halftime little trampoline, like mascot jumping on trampoline stuff, all that little stuff. MLB The Show also, I think, does a really
they do a good job too.
Yep.
So, but yeah, man, like I said, man, what was I about to say? As far as, like I said, lending that immersion, giving us that view, being able to see what it is that's going on, those are the kind of things we need to see in the game. Like, you could see it somewhat in live, even though I don't like how live added weight. Live, these are the few things. I know we've been bouncing on and off of live and bouncing around a little bit, but on the live tip, console, the biggest issue that I have with live is what I hoped, what I've always banked on being the best thing about live is not having the two-man sequences, the two-man animation sequences governing the game. And while they have updated the game and made strides in it to free it up even more, so I commend them on that. but we still don't have that full blown control over what it is that we're doing. And we need to have that control because like I said, hey, like VF, we talked about it many times before. NBA Live 15. Look at how you can play defense. You time that block right, that's the best contest you could get. I'm not saying make every block, make every stop.
But I get what you're saying. NBA Live 18 is kind of slacked off on the defense a little bit. It's slacked off on defense a little bit because I mean I don't know. I've yet to meet anyone else. I've put almost 200 hours in NBA Live 15. I thought it was one of the best lives put out, contrary to what a lot of people say. But I really enjoyed that game, and the game in general was just very balanced. I think it didn't have all the animations that you would want in a basketball game, but it respected the game of basketball. When you were blocking somebody on defense, it works. When you try to steal the ball, it wasn't no crazy warping or shifting. The ball was tangible. The shots came up correctly. The layups were right. Like very few there were a few times you had wonky animations, but for the most part, the game played very well. And like we were just talking about the defense, I like the fact that the defense in your positioning was respected.
Real quick. Go ahead and make your point, but I'll be right back. I gotta let my wife in real quick. I'll be right back, yo. So go ahead, keep making your point.
I got you. And I really respect the fact that, you know, the game of basketball was respected in that aspect. So it's one of my favorite games. But when 18 came, they put a lot of extra stuff in that game, which make the game better than 15. But it seems like the defense took a back seat. And it's something that I'm sure it can be addressed very easily because it's not a game-breaking issue or anything.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of it is really just changing the odds sometimes, right? Like, there's been many times, I'm sure you too, where you jump for a block. You, maybe along with two other teammates, jump for a block, and the guy makes this crazy reverse pooper scooper layup, and you're like, there's like physically, there's no way that he wouldn't have hit some kind of skin, an elbow or forehead or something. One of us had to somehow get a hand on that ball, right?
Yeah, I agree. And it comes out as a give or take because you look at it and be like, okay, live came a long way because those type of animations was never in the game. But at the same time, you're looking at, okay, that's really not supposed to happen. So it's kind of like a back and forth. Like, I like it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, and you know what? I want that to happen, but I just want it to happen once in 100 times, maybe not like 4 times a game. Because when it does happen, it's like I want to get hyped, right? Like, but when you see it 4 times in a game,
right,
you know, it's like the one of the best layups Jordan has ever made, but it happens 4 times in every pickup game. Like that, it takes away how special it really was, right?
Right, I totally get you on that, and I think just like I said, I think it's knowing the situation where live was in, where it was when 14 was released, and how 15 and 16 came out, and you saw the quality of it. It just wasn't the best, and then you see this, and a lot of people just. I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but there's a good bit of people that don't know that it's a pretty good high quality game. So when you see stuff like that happen in 18, it's like, okay, that's not right, but it came a long way at the same time. So it to me it's like I don't really gripe about it as much because you truly see the direction where it's going now.
Yeah, I agree. And if they stay on track, man, I mean, I'm already on board. Like I'm already committed for NBA Live 19, right? Like I'm 100% day one for sure because as much as I've always, and I hate to always compare the two, but like those are the only two we got, right? NBA 2K, NBA Live. I picked them up both, and like this year, I've honestly enjoyed myself way more playing NBA Live just because of what I'm doing in the game. And it's like you were saying, it's not a perfect game, but it's on the right track, and it's not that far away. It's
no. I mean, like I said, I think a lot of people need to realize like where it came from, and you know, you have a lot of people that just they either don't want to understand it or they don't understand it. That the game came from a long way, and the improvements are to the point where the game is highly playable. It's a really good basketball game to play. It's
right.
Like, you know, a lot of people just don't want to admit it because of their feelings about EA or whatever the case may be, or they just don't want to, you know, they feel like 2K shouldn't have any competition because 2K has been their bread and butter for years. And
Right.
I mean, their preference is their preference, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge on what is there.
100%.
I mean, I don't care about, too much, what the company does in general. I'm here for the game. So if a game is good, the game can be played on a garbage can for all I care. If it's a good game, I'm going to play it.
Right.
It just doesn't matter,
And then say what you want about EA, like they got it right with NBA Live.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. The entry point was cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean,
the whole aspect was cheap because they know they had to. I mean, you have to think about it from a standpoint of this. The game went through 3 cancellations in 7 years. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to talk about the 2012 campaign, you can say 4 times because you know. So with that being said, when they had 17 canceled, they had to find a way to get the game in people's hands, and somewhat say that it's somewhat of an apology for them for not putting the game out the way most people are traditionally used to. So when they came out the game at what was it, 39 or it was 39?
It was 39. Yep,
yeah,
39.
I mean it was just. I mean that's just that right there is just good faith right there for the average gamer that just say, okay, I'm always paying $65 for a game, but right here I could pay $42. Right. So now you're looking at like, okay, I'm kind of interested, and then on top of that, they give us a WNBA, which to me it's yay or nay. For me, I don't too much care for it, but it's something totally unique.
Right.
And then you come out with the game and they give us a demo. How many other games honestly give you a demo now?
Right. And not just the generic, but like you can make your player, you can play it, there's stuff to do with it.
And not on top of that, in the middle of the demo, they added teams to the demo. So you can play with 2 teams, and then you turn around, you can play with 4.
Which I think that's unheard of, right? An update to a demo?
An update to a demo. I don't think the last time, I don't even remember that happening. It may happen in the NCAA football game, but I could be wrong. I don't even think it ever happened. Now you look at it like this, you have all that going for it. When you actually play the game is actually a good game to play. It's not some fly-by-night game that you're just trying to throw on you. It's actually a game of quality.
Right.
So Live 18 is in a really good direction right now to where not only if they don't be the #1 basketball game, it's going to be really, really close. And it's not just because of the quality of the game. It's just the track record that they're putting out there showing that, hey, we want to put something out there for you guys to enjoy because of the not just because of the gameplay, it's the way that we're presenting it to you.
Right.
And presentation goes a long way at times.
Oh yeah. Yep. Let's not forget there's a lot of NBA 2K players right now that are chomping at the bit to play live because they came from live.
Why they chomping at the bit? The game is cheap. Did you go get it?
But like there's still that thing though, like there's still that thing. I feel like there's people that just haven't committed to it yet. But as long as like NBA Live stays on track, those people are coming. Like I feel 100% they're gonna come.
And that's a flip side to it. A lot of people do have to understand that there's going to be those people because of what has happened to the franchise of NBA Live the past 3-4 years. You got to regain that confidence back. So I get it. I totally understand.
And to what you guys are both saying there, there are people that, regardless of all the complaining, all the issues and everything else, they'll still just jump right back online and keep playing it anyway. They'll be like, man, this is bull crap. All right, let me go ahead and play this next match. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they'll do it anyway. And it's like, dude, NBA Live's got some legitimacy over here, man. I'm telling you, just give it a shot. But see, you know what? Like I said before, when the game gets better and it gets more accepted as far as, media accepted with, how the game is rated, and they get better scores on the game in general and stuff like that. Once that happens, it's going to become undeniable. Like, people are going to honestly be like, man, dang, they gave it an 8. They gave it this. Oh, wow. Well, let me see what they got. Because, like I said, the game got 6.5s, sixes and 6.5s, but also got some 7s and maybe a 7.5, 1 or 2 of those. So it's like if they take a jump like this going to the next title, well, it's gonna be it's just inevitable. It's gonna go from 6s to 7s, and those 7s are gonna mess around and be 8s and 8.5s, 8.5s. And then look, even with the progressive development they're doing now, you got the live strike. Okay, you got the clothing stuff, all that. You got the little designer courts and everything else. You make your gameplay updates accordingly over the course of the year. That stuff is great. But now you're about to bring, well, we don't know the full detail of it, but they're bringing 3-on-3. So, I mean, that picture, it's inevitable. Like, you got 3-player silhouettes there on that picture they put out the other day. They got 3v3 coming to the game. Now, how it's going to function and all that stuff, we'll see. That we got to wait and see. To the game, those are the kind of things. Yeah. And it's like people are like, yo, they progressively building and doing this and doing that and adding this stuff. And plus, for the LUT guy, like I said, you have a guy that's legit in the LUT community. I mean, in the 2K, in the basketball pack opening games community like that, guys like Shake and Bake that are on the console side of it, not really on the mobile side, like how mainly you are, Uber, but more on the console side. And he's up here saying, man, skip 2K. I'm getting on this EA. I'm up here opening up bundles. And there's other guys out there too. It's not just him. There are other guys that have nice size sub bases that are like saying like, hey man, look, y'all can think I'm playing. Live is legit this year. Like they got some legit stuff going on with that game. And I mean, don't worry about the price. Just get it. And like I said months ago, when it went down, basically over a year ago, when we first went down to the studio, this was like a little bit after 2K17 had came out. Dude, they was all like, look, we know we're not about to be on 2K's level off top like that. We know it's going to be a ride to get there. But we understand that when the game comes out, we're not expecting it to be like, oh, it's going to be this 2K killer. We know it's not going to be that. But we do have a plan for this title, and we are invested in it. So it's not people coming out acting like this is one trick pony time and that's it. No, it's going to keep coming out. Yeah. They know that the game is in a rough spot and they got to build it. Uber, you was at that dang on party. Look, that rooftop party at EA Play, them cats are all in. You know what I'm saying? Right. You ain't doing all that and you're just coming out with one game and you're done. No. They're all in. For that game, dude. That's as real as it gets. Like, it's one thing when you see something about it, like you're home and you see a video of it, it's like, okay, that looks nice. But when you get to soak in the ambiance and it's like, okay, yeah, the way these guys are talking and the way they walking and strutting and talking and all that and showing, okay, yeah, they serious about backing this live game. This isn't some one and done joke here. They're not going to look and say, oh, my gosh, the numbers aren't exactly where it needs to be. And because of that, we're done. Like, no, they know it's going to take a minute. Yep. So
they did an awesome job, too. And I don't know the numbers, but I would take a guess they are better than the last rendition of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Because 16 was not good at all. So I'm almost certain of that. Absolutely.
And like, because I remember the thing about 16 that I remember, I didn't play it much, but like I remember this thing going around with how many users were online at the same time, and it was a really low amount of users.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't know if it was real or not, but like I don't know the sales, but I know it didn't do well. This game seems to have done pretty well, and like Smitty is saying, like I think the consensus is pretty positive. Like at least I haven't heard too many people just say this game is absolute trash, garbage, whatever. It's good. Like it's a good game, and it's a great building block.
This year, this game, a lot of people have actually come around to actually respect the game, right? And, you know, and it's warranted because they've done a pretty good job with the game. So, like I said, if they continue to pick up on what they're doing now, I mean, the sky's the limit for the actual franchise. Because I was blown away with Live 18. I didn't think, I played 16 very briefly, and I could not play it. To me, it was unplayable. But 15 was great. So when I saw them take a year off, and I looked at it, I said, I'm gonna give it a shot. It was a free demo. I mean, why not? And I was blown away by it. And it's like, if they continue to push what they have, I think they're gonna have a pretty good, solid franchise going forward.
Yep.
And see, oh no, go ahead, Uber. Go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say it also, I feel like it caters more to the casual gamer a little bit than, like I don't feel like I need to give up my job to be able to somewhat comprehend this game. Like, I know basketball, but sometimes the other title, I feel like I got to put in like hundreds of hours just to get decent to even understand what I'm doing. Like Live, to me, they got that right to where you can jump in and jump out pretty easily. Now it's just adding to that to where you can have a more comprehensive experience, right, in franchise mode and whatnot.
Well, that's another thing a lot of people don't really, people who haven't dug into Live 18, that the controls are very, very user-friendly.
Right.
They're very user-friendly.
Yep.
So it's not as complicated as it is with, let's say, per se, with 2K. I mean, 2K, I understand why their controls the way they are. It's a very sophisticated game. But at the same time, when you look at Live is very, very user-friendly. You can get in, you can look at the controls, you can go to practice and look at all the controls, how to do certain moves, and they're very easy to do, and they're very easy to remember, unlike 2K, where it's like you're going to have to put in at least a couple of hours to learn how to play with a big man or play with the point guard and play with a small forward. It will take you 2 or 3 hours to learn all of those.
Right.
Yep.
I think overall, I think when you look at the entire situation with Live 18, I think EA has done a great job with that game, trying to present it out to the public once again to try to gain people trust based on what has happened in the past.
Right. And see, and one last point to cap it off here, because I know we winding down, got a few minutes left here on the show here, which has been a really good discussion here. But what was very eventful to see and what was nice to see is how people ran to Live 16 after seeing EA play, and they saw the off-screen footage of Live 18, like that Drew League footage. People's like, yo, that's how Live looked. Yeah, man, let me get on the sticks and let me familiarize myself. All of a sudden, like what my man Daryl is saying in the chat, you used to have where it'd be 50 people, maybe 100, maybe 120, to regularly 300, 400 people. All of a sudden online, like at peaks, getting on Live and playing. Build up. And I'm like, see, when you plant a good seed, that's the kind of response you get.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they will come to it, start playing and building and all that good stuff. So I'm like, yo, that's what I'm saying. With what Live did, that's what, even from EA Play, I was saying, they set a real good foundation. All they need to do is build that foundation out. Yep. They build it out, those cats will have a good game. Possibly in 2 to 3 years, they'll have a really good. You'll have potentially 2 legitimate alternatives, because depending upon how 2K touches their game up. But if they stop doing that, you will have 2 legitimate games to play. That's beautiful, because it's been so long since we've had that.
Yeah.
So, that's why I said I look forward to it. That's why I'm, giving my feedback, speaking on it, all that good stuff. I want the game to be the best it can be going forward, and keep working at it, keep plugging away and chugging. Not necessarily to outmatch 2K, but make the best game that EA can make.
Right.
And make your own game. I don't want this game to be 2K. 2K got their own game. Yes. I want Live to be its own game. That's why I love all this work they're doing. Keep on doing it, because people loving it. And it shows. People are suddenly online, like you said before, Uber. They're switching over. So they're converting, or they're at least opening themselves up eventually to that option and saying, yo, let me try this Live out. It may not be that bad. So
Yep.
But on that note, Got 2 minutes left. You know, anything closing words wise, any of you guys want to say? You know, I'll start off VF. Anything you want to say? Let people know.
Nah, I'm good, man. Like, once again, you know, November 21st, next Tuesday, we're gonna be going live on the First Frame Rates podcast, and just gonna continue to do what we do as far as talking sports and sports gaming. You know, nothing special. Just hope you guys come through so you can chat with us, and we'll be there waiting.
Definitely check them out. No, I'll definitely be tweeting out and supporting, and I'll be in the chat. And like I said, I'll definitely will be getting on the line and hanging out with them, him and Bill's, checking out their podcast, and of course contributing on there. And I know Sim will get on there too as well. So definitely look forward to that. And of course, I appreciate you being on tonight, taking the time out. I greatly appreciate that from you.
Oh, man, no problem. Anytime.
Oh yeah. And also, go ahead, Uber. Anything you want to plug in?
I'm not a big plugger, but I'll definitely check out your show, VF. That was nice talking to you, man. I'm a nerd for this, man. I could listen. I could either talk about sports games or listen about people talking about sports games all day, every day. So I'm gonna definitely check out your show. Thanks again, Smitty, for having me on. Always a pleasure, man.
Oh yeah.
This was a good one, man.
Oh yeah, no shade, man. Thank you, man.
This was a banger, as the kids would say, right?
Yeah, well, hey, DJ dropping that big old bomb earlier. That was definitely the huge banger right there. Right. So, all right. Man. But yeah, hey, always a pleasure having you on, you know, both of you guys, and of course all of you guys out there in the chat and everything, being active, interacting with us. I greatly appreciate y'all. Next week we'll be back on Sim's channel, you know, SimFBallCritic's channel. I appreciate all of you guys coming through and, you know, hanging out with us. And yeah, man, this was fun. So until next time, you guys all be safe. God bless. Peace out. See y'all next week.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace. See you guys.